Do people in Canada have cable, like other people?
We keep this up in the playoffs. I don't care.
And at Chili's. Is it a Chili's?
Achilles.
Finally.
You don't know that?
Fuck you! Get this guy the fuck out of here!
Alright, well, coming in at number 5, I got Anthony Stolars.
Now! Jets are winning the cup!
Thank you for watching and listening. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the NordCast. It is Friday, July 25th, 2025. I am your host here, Nordic97, joined with Kada. Carter, how we doing?
Doing, as good as I can. I got leave on a trip on Saturday, going for a little East Coast trip, do a little road trip down there, so I'm excited for that. So just trying to get through this week, man, has been an absolute struggle. My brain is already in vacation mode.
Yeah, I'm going up to my girlfriend's parents, which is going to be fun for a couple of days, and then as soon as we come back, we're going to the beach. So it's just like everything's after each other, and this week, I agree, has been an absolute drag. It hasn't been like a bad week. It's just like you always know the week before vacation is the longest week of your life, it feels like. And then the week following is just like the shortest week of your life because you're on vacation. And then Jack's here as well. Jack, how we doing?
Doing good.
Jack is burnt, as you can tell by the look.
I am burnt. Yeah, I was at the beach today with my summer camp. So
you were at the beach today?
Yeah.
Don't you live in Chicago?
Yeah, there's beaches in Chicago, but Illinois people know it's Centennial Beach in Naperville. There's like a town right next to me, a rich people town pretty much, and they have their own beach, which is kind of cool. So we went there for
beach, camp, right?
It's it like connects to a river, so it's a river water, but like there's sand and everything, so it's cool.
Okay. Well, at least you don't have to travel all the way out to the coast to go to the beach. All right. We got a couple of things to talk about here today. First and foremost, we're going to be going over the Canada trial because the verdict is final. The thing we've been talking about for a while now, like 2 years, more than that, is finally at a verdict. As well as that, too, we're going to discuss the Central Division off seasons for all 8 teams in that division. So let's quickly go through here. We don't have a lot of time, so let's just hop right into the whole sexual assault case that has been going on. The 5 players have all been found not guilty on first counts of sexual assault. Michael McLeod was charged for 2 things. He was found for not guilty on both of them. So all of the players were acquitted. So some of the quotes that we saw here from this verdict case today, the Justice Carosia, I believe I'm saying it right, identified the inconsistencies between EM, which is the victim, and testimony and previous statements she gave in the past. Carosia said EM had a tendency to blame others during her testimony. Some of her testimony was proven wrong when compared to video evidence. Carosia says EM has gaps in her memory and that she admitted to filling those gaps with assumptions. Carosia also takes the issue with EM, often starting her answers with, "I feel that," as it reflects to an uncertain memory. And then he also said that, in my view, the plaintiff, which is EM again, I'm sure you guys understand this, exaggerated her intoxication. So as a result of all those things, these guys have been found not guilty. And just simply being put, I'm going to go to these guys first and ask them for their thoughts. But after we heard the first side of it, and the first side was pretty bad, reading the article. I know all 3 of you have read the long page article that showed everything that happened in her detail. But after hearing the second part of all the guys with their defense, because again, they all had their separate lawyers, they weren't represented by one person, they all had 5 different defenses. Everything that we heard kind of just told us that maybe this was a little bit over-exaggerated. But I want to know your guys' thoughts. Are you surprised? And what is coming here for the future?
Honestly, I'm very surprised they're all Not guilty. I mean, I was expecting all of them to be guilty, all 5 of them. But I mean, we were talking about it a little bit before we started recording. But I think the only guy out of the 5 that we could see a return to the NHL for is Carter Hart. So we'll see what plays out. But yeah.
Yep. Carter, what do you think about all this?
I don't know. I mean, I expected them to be guilty. I'm not like as shocked because for this to just re-pop back up was kind of just random and whatever. So part of me feels bad for these guys because they're proven not guilty. Like, I don't doubt that something might have happened or whatever, but like part of me still feels bad for these guys and everything that happened to them. I still also feel bad for EM for having to go through with all this, and there's so much unneeded kind of just negative publicity towards everyone involved. These cases like this, there's no right or wrong statement that you can really make when you're talking about it. Like, you can pick one side, everyone thinks you're wrong. You pick the other side, everyone thinks you're wrong. So yeah, as Jack said, I think the only player that's got a chance to return to the NHL is probably Carter Hart, and that's going to come with a lot of backlash. So we're gonna have to see what happens there. But part of me is more so just glad that this is all kind of over and we can move on as a community.
Yeah, I'm glad that this whole trial is put behind us because this has been something we have been talking about for literally years. Again, as I've said, like, since the podcast started back in 2022, we have been hearing just like information be spilled upon and some things getting put down here and there. The trial didn't even start until like a couple months ago. Like, that's how long this really took for police investigation to happen. And the guys weren't like taken away from the NHL or charged officially with this until like December of 2023. So this has been going on for a while and a while with the whole investigation for something that also happened almost 10 years ago, apparently. So it doesn't really matter what our opinion is on whether or not we think these guys are guilty. The fact is they were ruled as not guilty, and that is fact. There's no way that we can change that. I'm not going to come on here and say, "Oh, I disagree with the verdict," because what is my opinion going to do? As I've learned many times on this podcast, my opinion means almost nothing. So coming on here and saying that, and that's not to say that I disagree with the verdict. I'm honestly in the middle. I'll say that right here, right now. But my opinion is not going to change that, and neither will either of these two guys. Looking ahead to the future and what's going to happen now, I've seen a lot of people say that there's going to be NHL returns. I don't think so. These guys, guilty or not, their careers in the NHL, most likely than not, are over for 4 of the 5. And honestly, they should be over because you get yourself tied up in something like this, even if, like, something happened. Like, let's not deny that here. Something happened. It's just a matter of, was it consensual rape or was it not consensual rape? Whether it was consensual sex or rape. So sorry to say that trigger words, but something happened. There is no denying that. And whether these guys were guilty or not, their careers are basically done. In North America, I would say. They are going to be forever painted as predators and honestly criminals by some people. And the same can be said for Stan Bowman and Joel Quenneville. And that is the reason why I am not closing the door on a possible Carter Hart return to the NHL, which is what everybody's been saying. And I am not ruling it out whatsoever because, again, anything is possible. And I think if we saw Stan Bowman and Joel Quenneville come to the NHL, literally, like, what, 2 years? Not 2 years, like 3 years after being being involved in that whole Kyle Beach scandal that happened, anything is possible in this world that I've learned now. And again, that sucks. I'm just going to say it right here, right now. There's going to be people that disagree with me. I don't think any of these guys should be in the NHL or playing any hockey. with the way the world is now, you commit a crime like that, you don't deserve to go back and make millions of dollars. Like, you don't deserve that. There might be people that really disagree with that because they think the world's getting soft, and maybe that's the truth, or maybe the world's just changing. So, again, with this, I can see an NHL return for only one of the 5, and that's the only one that's, like, worth risking, as Carter said earlier before we started recording. He said that to us when we were talking about it. He's the only one that is, like, worth the backlash to actually go out and sign. Because you look at Dubé and you look at Formenton and you look at McLeod and Foote, they're not that good. Like, statistically, you look at their numbers, they're not that good. I think Foote was, like, basically an AHLer. McLeod was a good 4th liner, but basically an AHLer as well. Dubé was young and had some upside. I guess that's the best of the 4 outside of Hart. Again, the only one that really had something going, and again, Formenton was like out of the NHL basically before this whole thing went down. And maybe this was because of that. Who knows? The only one who is worth signing and is actually decent is Carter Hart. That is the only one that is worth signing in this entire debacle that is going down. So we're going to put it at that. Again, we can talk about all these different things, but it's not going to matter. Let's move on from that. And if we hear any more news or somebody gets signed or whatever, we'll obviously talk about that here. But as of right now, all these guys are not guilty. So let's move on from that. Let's hop into our Central Division off-season reviews for all 8 teams in the Central Division. We're going to go a little bit quick here than we did in the last episode. We spent the whole last episode going through it. We don't have a lot of time here. Carter does have to go. We have to make sure we get to his team at the end. So let's start and get through this here. Starting off with the Chicago Blackhawks. So going through all of the moves that Chicago made. I'll let Jack talk here in a moment, but I want to go through them first. And I'll let Carter talk as well, obviously. Joe Veleno was traded away from Chicago to the Kraken in exchange for Andre Burakovsky. So Burakovsky is going to fit in there on a decent top 6 role. As well as that, too, they also acquired Sam Lafferty from the Buffalo Sabres. I believe that is a former Blackhawk that's coming back in exchange for a 6th-round pick in 2026 as well. That's it for the trades. What are your guys' thoughts on both those deals? I'll go to Jack first.
Yeah, honestly, I love both of them. I mean, you give up Veleno, who's an NHL caliber guy, but you get a guy with a really high ceiling, in my opinion, still, like, with his age and everything considered, Andre Burakovsky. And, I mean, that's the guy who's going to get a ton of minutes on this team. I mean, a lot of young guys that kind of have his play style, I'd say. So I think he'll help out a lot. And then Lafferty, I think this might be his 3rd stint now with the Hawks, if I'm not mistaken.
Really? I know he's been there before.
Wow. Yeah, I think it's 2nd or it honestly might be his 3rd. If I'm remembering correctly. But, I mean, he's just the definition of a gritty guy. I mean, he'll score the greasy goals for you, get in the dirty areas. So I like that a lot. Good depth signing. But, yeah, I mean, this is a team that is going to be in the Gavin McKenna sweepstakes. And then I think after this season, that's when you're going to start to see the climb and trying to push for a wild card spot.
Okay. Carter, what did you think about the trades?
I think that they're all right for what they had to do. I don't think you want to go all out and get so many different players and just completely change this team because at the end of the day, they got so many young guys on this roster already. Like Bedard and Nazar is your top 2 centers, and that's not to mention you got Oliver Moore, who's 20 years old, Slaggert, who's 23. And then on top of that, their decor, Renzel is young. He's still on his RFA deal. Levshinov just came in and he's 19. You got Kaiser, who's 22, and Del Mastro, who's 22, and Doc, who's 22. Like, still has a young team with a lot of guys that, are yet to hit their prime. The only thing is they don't have a winger for Connor Bedard yet, which I think is something that they'll have to address real soon before Connor Bedard hits 21, 22, because if you're wasting, these early years of Connor Bedard without a winger, what are you really going to do? You're not really getting the best out of him, especially at this young age. Like this, I don't want to say this hurts his development because it doesn't. He's still an unbelievable player, but at the same time, this doesn't really help his confidence, is what I'm going to say. Is his confidence is what's going to take a big hit from this. But I still think that he's very good. I think that they know exactly what they got to do. They've gone through rebuilds before, so I'm not too worried about Chicago. But I mean, with the moves they made, not too bad.
Yeah, in terms of signings, they didn't really do much either. They extended Ryan Donato. They signed, or actually just re-signed a couple of players. They didn't really sign anybody that's like new besides Dominic Toninato, who will be a probably fourth-line center for them, I would assume, or an AHLer. Honestly, apart from that, the only guy who's really new that's coming in, like new, is Andre Burakovsky. So, to be honest, I didn't really have that big of an expectation for Chicago this offseason. I'm satisfied with this, although they didn't do a ton, so I'm giving them a C+ for me.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that, C+. Also, this defense core is going to be so much fun to watch. I mean, it's like 5 guys at the age of 22 or younger, and then Connor Murphy. So I'm excited to watch all of them.
Carter, what do you think?
I'm going to go one grade lower. I'm going to give him a C, just because it's been 3 years and they still don't have a winger for Connor Bedard yet.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's a valid
that holds a lot of weight to me.
Yeah, like when they picked Frondell, and again, as we said in the other one, we don't want to let the draft impact it that much because the draft isn't really that big. It doesn't have an effect unless if you're like the first or second overall pick. I don't think Frondell's coming right to the NHL unless if Jack disagrees.
He said he's going back overseas if he doesn't make the team.
Yeah. So again, like it doesn't really have that big of an impact. But for Frondell, when they picked him, I'm like, man, like are they going to get a winger for Bedard here at some point? Like they have an insane center core of Bedard, Frondell, and Nazar. Unless they move Bedard to the wing, I don't know. But anyways, yeah.
His face-off percentage is not good.
Yeah, no, it's not good.
Yeah, so we'll have
like sub 40.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right,
it's
moving
not
on
good.
then. Yeah, that's brutal. Moving on then to the Colorado Avalanche up next. The Avalanche, kind of like the Blackhawks, didn't make a ton of moves. However, they made some signings and a trade that we need to talk about. They started off by bringing in Gavin Brindley, a second and a third from Columbus in exchange for Miles Wood and Charlie Coyle. The Avalanche dumped off a total of $7.75 million with this deal. And that gave them the money to sign guys like Brent Burns and Josh Manson to contracts as well. And that's kind of been their offseason. Apart from that, they really didn't do a ton in terms of signings. They've just been extending guys. They obviously re-signed Brock Nelson to a 3-year, 7.5, so he's sticking around. But apart from that, this is basically the same Avalanche team, minus those 2 players. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, it really is almost the same team. I like the addition of Burns. I mean, I think he fits their timeline. But this will be a team that'll be in contention next year. So,
yeah, definitely. I think the reason why they're not running in there and signing any players is because Cale Makar is expiring and they need to worry about him. So that's what I was thinking about that. And then Carter, what do you think about the Brent Burns deal and the trades and all that good stuff?
I like Brent Burns. Brent Burns at $1 million is very good, especially knowing that he's just going to be your third pairing guy. He's still a very good defenseman, so I think that's great for them. Josh Manson re-signed is great for them too. They still have Taves locked up for a while. Gerard and Makar both end in the next 2 years, so that'll kind of sting for their decor a bit, but cap's going up, so I think that's pretty good. Other than that, like their forward core is like exactly the same. It'll be nice to have a full season of Landeskog back for Colorado. He looked very good in the playoffs, so I think that'll definitely help them as well. And then they're going to get a full season in Natchez, so I don't know if he's going to stay or not. I think that's going to be the big question going into this year is if he wants to stay, I think they'll get that deal done pretty quickly. But if not, he will definitely be traded because I don't think that Colorado is a team that's willing to kind of sit back on Marty Natchez and just let him walk for nothing at the end of the year.
Yeah, Natchez is the biggest factor for me. I've been thinking about him a lot because we heard some rumblings that he might not be happy in Colorado, which is kind of wild to think. But we'll see how that's going to be. Again, I think they are really going to miss Mikko Rantanen. I got to be blunt. I don't think this team is better than Mikko Rantanen's team. I'm just going to say that right now. However, I think the moves they made this offseason were just satisfying enough. I feel like they still have a really good team. You know, you got to remember, again, as you said, a full season of Natchez, a full year of Brock Besser. We'll see how that impacts it. And then Landeskog as well is a big X factor, too. I don't expect Landeskog to jump in there and pick up right where he left off. It might take a little bit next year, so maybe keep that in mind. Or maybe he does come and pop off because he does have training camp ahead. And he's also had this whole offseason to just rest as well again. So I don't know. To be honest with you, Colorado, I got to give him a C plus as well. I don't think the Brindley trade doesn't really impact it that much for me. I think the moves they made were all right. They weren't great though, in my opinion. I do like moving off of. I'll give him a B minus. I like the moves of moving off that cap for Gavin Brindley in a second. So, what do you guys think about Colorado's offseason in a grade?
I would go B plus.
All right, Carter.
I'll stick with middle of the road, I guess C plus, because they didn't really do much, but this team is still very good.
Yeah, that's fair enough. All right, moving on then to the Dallas Stars. The Stars had a interesting offseason for sure. A lot of what they did was trying to clear cap to keep around players. So starting off here, they traded Mason Marchment to the Seattle Kraken in exchange for a 2025 fourth-round pick and a 2026 third-round pick. And then they also traded Matt Dumba to the Pittsburgh Penguins along with a 2028 second in exchange for Vladislav Kolyanichuk. In all those moves combined, they gained about $8.5 million in cap space, which really helped them in signing, guys like Radek Faksa and Matt Duchene and Jamie Benn to contracts as well. Duchene's deal, 4 years, 4.5. Maverick Bork got a 950, which is a steal to me. Ben got a 1x1, and then Faksa is on a 3-year deal at $2 million. So what do you guys think about what Dallas did this offseason? Because I think, again, they were kind of limited a little bit with cap, and I feel like it's going to really affect them next year with Robertson and Harley coming off the books. But what do you guys think about Dallas's offseason? As I go grab a water.
Yeah, I mean they move on from some of their guys to keep their big guys around, and I think that's the right thing to do. I mean that's a team with a lot of star power on it, and it's kind of a team similar to Colorado, the team we just talked about. But yeah, I mean I like what Dallas is doing, and I don't really think they're done yet this offseason. So we'll see what else they got. I think this is probably a top 3 cup contender next year too.
Definitely.
I agree. I like the moves that they made. I mean, any time that, you can re-sign Duchene on a nice hometown discount, very good. You locked up your captain for $1 million, who's still a very good player, especially come playoff time. They moved off of
Dumba and Marchment.
Dumbo was one, yeah. And then, oh my God.
Marchment.
The forward. Marchment. There it is. I'm slow. Whatever. Anyways, they still have Sagan, who's on the books, but he comes off in 2 years, so that's going to be very nice for them to kind of get off their hands. Robertson is going to be an interesting one that we're going to have to watch this season as well. I feel like a lot of these teams in the Central have a guy that's on an expiring deal that even though they're on a contending team that could end up getting shipped out as well. But
you're right, yeah.
Yeah. And Wyatt Johnson's locked up too. So, I mean, this is very impressive of a forward core. Even the D core is unbelievable. And they have an absolute stud in net in Jake Ottinger. So, very good for this team. Yeah, I like it.
So, in terms of grades, Dallas, I think they did a good job clearing cap. I got to give them a B. Honestly, I definitely think the team got a little bit worse. However, obviously losing Granlund doesn't help, but they still brought back a lot of their guys. So I'm not mad at it at all. And then Mikko Rantanen obviously coming in, they're a B for me with this offseason. What do you guys think?
I would go B too.
Carter?
I'm gonna go B plus.
Okay.
I'm gonna go B plus. I like their signings and their trades. I think they really helped themselves.
All right, moving on then to the Minnesota Wild up next. The Wild made a couple of trades, nothing big though. They started off by trading away Frederick Gaudreau to the Kraken in exchange for a 4th-round pick. That doesn't really hurt the team that much. He's like a 4th-line forward on Minnesota. They gained some cap space off of that. They did acquire Chase Priskie and a 2025 4th-round pick. However, Priskie went to Europe in exchange for Declan Chisholm and a 6th-round pick. So that's interesting. And then they also acquired Vladimir Tarasenko in exchange for nothing from Detroit. So there's that. And then in terms of signings, they really didn't do anything serious. The best free agent they signed was Nicholas Aube-Kubel. That's the best guy they signed this offseason. So honestly, the Wild didn't do a ton. They made a lot of moves through trades. But what do you guys think about the Wild's offseason?
I don't think it was a successful one, at least up to this point, honestly. I mean, this was a team that I thought was going to go out and sign a lot of guys, to be honest with you. I'd say it was a pretty disappointing season last year. I mean, I think they were, in most people's minds, were going to make the playoffs, and I mean, they weren't really close. So, I mean, that's a team with a lot of good players on it, and I think if they went out and they had a successful offseason, I think that's a team that we could see in the playoffs. But up until this point, I haven't been very impressed by them.
What do you think, Carter?
Yeah, I'm disappointed too, to be honest with you. But I guess Minnesota can't really do a whole heck of a lot because Kaprizov's going to want $80 million a year. Rossi's already been being taken to arbitration, right?
Yes. So Rossi is going to arbitration. The Wild, I did see earlier, offered him a 5.5 or 5x5 is what I saw. And I'm like, what? Yeah. So the Wild are lowballing him. I think that's going to end up being ugly. I honestly think he might find his way out of Minnesota, to be brutally honest with you. And that is why, like, I'm going to be blunt. Like, I'm not surprised that they're not spending a lot of money is because of Kaprizov. So you're right. Continue.
Yeah. So anyways, yeah, I mean, they can't really make a lot of moves, so I'm kind of being a little bit harsh on them. But they also have so many expiring deals next year. Like, it's ridiculous. Hinostroza, he's not really a big name, but whatever. Hinostroza, Tarasenko, Zuccarello, Rossi's already expired. Johansson expires. Kaprizov expires. Jurček expires. Bogosian expires. Gustafsson expires. They have so many expiring contracts this season that they got a lot of work to do, and I think that they should have spent a little bit more time kind of figuring out, okay, who do we want to re-sign now? Who do we re-sign? Who do we let go? And I think that's going to be the hard part for them right now, but I mean, yeah, they got a lot of work to do next year, and honestly, they still have a lot of work to do this year because this is a lot. But I think once they trade Marco Rossi, which I'm very much expecting to happen before trade deadline next year, they kind of sucked in this this offseason.
Well, I mean, you look at the Wild's roster, it's still a young and dangerous team. And without the money of Parise and Sutter limiting them, I think that once they get Kaprizov locked up, which honestly, it might be literally all that money, I think they're going to try and start making some moves. I do want to speak a little bit on Vladimir Tarasenko. I think that move, he's a little bit expensive for me, $4.75 million for a guy who put up, just looking at it, he did not have a good season last year. I can tell you that for free. Had 19 points last year. 4.75 for a guy who could have been at best a 4th-line forward technically last year with those point numbers. So it's not great from that perspective. It's actually really good on Detroit for giving that up for nothing. But I will say this. I think that there is a chance where in the right system he could bounce back. So I don't know. But let's see how the Wild do. Honestly, you guys are a little bit disappointed. I'm going to go like a C-. I'm not that disappointed because, again, like Kaprizov, I was keeping in mind. I don't like how they're lowballing Marco Rossi. I'm not a fan of that, but I'm going to go with a C- for me. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I go D plus.
D plus.
I'm
All
going
right.
C minus.
Okay. All right, then. Let's move on from the Minnesota Wild and scoot on over to Nashville, where Nashville, guys, I hate to break it to you, they didn't do a lot. They did not do a lot whatsoever. The only trade that they made that was relevant, just looking through them. Oh, actually, no, that's a lie. They made two trades. They acquired Eric Halla, who is back in Nashville, in exchange for Jeremy Handel and a fourth. Not horrible of a move. Then they acquired Nicholas Haig from the Vegas Golden Knights in exchange for Jeremy Lazone and Colton Sissons. They are also retaining on Sissons. They would go on then and sign Haig to a 4-year, $5.5 million extension. And then they also signed Nick Perbix out of Tampa to a 2-year, $2.75. Nashville, they didn't do a lot, but I'm not very happy with what they did. I'm going to give them, like, what do you guys think? I'm not a fan of what they did, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, neither. And it is an aging team. I think last year was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. And I don't think this year will be any better. So,
Carter?
Man, I am so happy that me and Jack did not make the same statement about the Nashville Predators as we did with Ottawa.
yeah.
Oh my goodness. Like, we want to talk about off-season winners last year. Nashville was up there for sure. Stamkos, Marchessault, Shea, like on a team that was scrappy last year.
Mm-hmm.
They were in the playoffs 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for a team that was in the playoffs 2 years ago, they weren't in it last year, 2 years ago.
I mean like 23, 24.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Yeah. Now you're good. Anyways, it's a new season. Wake up. So 2 years ago, literally was in a game 7 with Vancouver, correct? Or game 6?
So,
yeah, literally was an overtime away. I'm pretty sure from moving on to the second round, and they didn't. It's like, okay, that sucks. Boom, bring in Steven Stamkos, Cup champion, 2-time Cup champion. Boom, Jonathan Marchessault, recent Cup champion, Conn Smythe winner. Boom, Brady Shea, great defense. And we're like, okay, like Nashville's built something here. They're looking good, looking great, and they shit the bed. And this offseason, they really didn't change much, and I don't expect a lot to change here. I don't know their plan. I don't know their strategy. I don't know anything about them. I hated this offseason because they didn't do anything. But again, there's not much they can do. Like, this is an old team. There's not a lot of young guys. Their best young player is Luke Engvinlista. He's 23 years old. He's their best young player. And other than that, they're... What?
Sorry. Go.
No, you're good. I was just gonna say their fourth line is young, but that's about it. Everyone else on that forward core is 29 and older. Their D core, Barron's their youngest player at 23. After that, it's 26, 27, 27, 31, 35. And then Saros is 30. Like, this is gonna be bad for Nashville. Like, this could get ugly for the Nashville Predators.
It's gonna be a rough year.
So, throw them in the McKenna sweepstakes.
I do think they have youth. Like, they have some youth on the roster, like Svechkov, Evangelista. They have like an okay prospect pool. Like Matthew Wood is up there, Brady Martin, I guess now. But like, I feel like
it's not guys that get me out of my seat.
Yeah, it's just like I don't want to say it's like Winnipeg's prospect pool. It's like Winnipeg's pool, but worse. Because the Jets, like, they have just a lot of players who just, like, spread up and down. Like, guys who have decent depth. Like, they have a deep pool. But they have nobody that really screams for you. Nashville is just, like, the same way, but, like, 2 times worse. 5 times worse. Like, they're just not... It's not good. Like, I don't
Sorry, we've been either good or mid.
Yeah, Winnipeg has some decent... I shouldn't have done that. I apologize for...
No. It's not like we're talking about the Central Division or anything, and I'm gonna just I'm kidding. I'm sorry.
But yeah, like so I look at Nashville and I'm like, I don't like this team. I got to be honest, like they're a D for me. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I would go D too.
I'll go D plus. I'll be a little bit nicer, just because I mean they still have a lot of good players, but it's just can't click for some reason.
Very kind. All right, moving on then to the St. Louis Blues. The Blues had a better offseason. They made a couple of moves. First and foremost, they acquired Logan Mailloux from the Montreal Canadiens in exchange for Zach Bolduc. That is a steal for Montreal, I must say. I don't know why we're doing that, but okay. They also made a couple of signings. They brought in Nick Bjugstad. They brought in P.S. Suter, which I think I said to one of you guys on the day that he was signed. I was like, the fact that we're getting like a P.S. Suter sweepstakes shows you how bad this draft class or this free agency class is.
Free agency.
But apart from that, the only ads they really have are Suter, Bjugstad, and Mailloux. That's about it. This core is basically the same. I don't really think they needed to change much up because you're going to have guys like Snuggerud and Dvorsky coming up next season, and not to mention Neighbors up there too. By all accounts, I think they had a decent offseason. I don't like the Bolduc, though. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I don't really have thoughts on that, to be honest with you.
Bolduc had like 20 goals, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, he had a pretty good season, considering the facts. So I was a little bit disappointed about that. But Carter, what are your thoughts?
I mean, this was a team that was 2 seconds away from being in the second round.
Here he goes.
It's not coming. The reason for it's not coming to my mind, but I just remember that like 1.6 seconds, fanned on the shot. Perfetti,
we'll never forget how you were moments before that happened. You were in shambles.
Shh. We're talking about the Blues here. Let's move on here. This is still a very good team. I was very impressed with Jimmy Snuggerud, Robert Thomas. Those guys really stood out to me in the playoffs, big time. Jordan Kyrou is an interesting one. I was shocked to see that he didn't get moved, but I also wasn't because like the amount of rumors that were circulating around him, just being like, "Oh, he's on the trade block. They better trade him before his no trade clause kicks in." And it's like, man, this guy's still good, but like there's so many rumors that he was like being shopped and like
he is good. That's the weird part.
Yeah, I know. That's the problem. Is like it had me believe, but it's like no. So I don't know. I really like this team. I think they're definitely in a great position with how they ended the season last year to be good this year too. They have their offseason was, it was all right. Nothing, that gets me out of my bed in the morning, but I think that they had a pretty solid offseason. So I'll probably give these guys like a B-, I think.
That's my grade as well. Jack?
Yeah, I go B-.
Okay. All right, moving on. Agree. What'd you say, Carter?
I said, wow, we all agree.
Yeah, no, that's rare. Moving on then to the Utah Mammoth. First off, they had the name change in the offseason. That's an A right there. But I got to be blunt. Of the teams in the Central Division, this might be biased, and you can call it biased. I think Utah had the best offseason.
Bias.
Of any team in the division. I'm just going to be blunt. They brought in Jason Peterka from Buffalo in exchange for Josh Doan and Michael Kesselring as well. They signed Peterka then to I still can't believe it, to a 5-year 7x7.7. So yeah, they got him with an extension for Josh Doan and Michael Kesselring basically. Then they would also go and sign Brandon Tanev, 3 years, 2.5. Nate Schmidt, 3 years, 3.5. Vitek Vanacek, 1 year, 1.5. That's a very good offseason. Peterka was phenomenal last year for Buffalo, and you gave up depth pieces for him, essentially. Nate Schmidt was a very key part in why Florida won the Cup last year on a very good back end. He is going to do good on Utah's blue line, which was injury-prone last year. Adding him to the back end as a veteran, that could work out very well. Brandon Tanev going to be a good third or fourth line guy. I love what they did. What do you guys think? I love what they did, and you can call it biased. I don't care.
I honestly I agree. I think from what I've heard so far, this is probably the best offseason in the division. I mean, it was a team that definitely had its moments last year of, like sparks of greatness. And I mean, we'll see what happens this year, but this is a team that can definitely compete for a playoff spot. And I mean, they got better. So
definitely. Carter?
Nordic getting excited over Jets bottom players, but that's okay. No, I really do like their offseason. I think Tanev's going to be a great fit there. I think he's playing on a line that can help give him a little bit of speed, and that fourth line is fierce. Like, that's going to be a fun fourth line to watch. Nate Schmidt's a great addition too. You also forgot about, Ollie Mata, absolute legend of a player. Former first round pick, not a big deal or anything like that. But yeah, no. And then, man, what they gave up for Paterka is crazy to me. That was all he was valued at.
yeah, me too.
That's crazy to me. So hell of a trade for Utah. So I mean, I don't disagree with you there that they had an unbelievable offseason. They got some guys that they're going to have to sign next year too. So it's going to be a fun time in Utah. Cooley's up for an extension. Hayton's going to be up for an extension. Schmaltz is up for an extension. And, of course, the GOAT, Kevin Stenlund, up for an extension.
That is the GOAT. Yep. But yeah, I think Utah had the best offseason. I'm going with an A. Firmly an A. And you can call that bias, but I think of the teams in the division, they fleeced Buffalo, basically. They made good value signings. It's an A.
Yeah, I go A minus.
Yeah, I was going to say A minus.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, moving on then to the final team in this list. We got the Winnipeg Jets. So the Jets, as I load up their trades here, they actually didn't make any trades this offseason, at least so far. Carter can speak on whether he expects one or not soon. But anyways, the signings they made, the only guy that's really notable that they brought in, actually there's a few. They brought in Samuel Fademo. They brought in Cale Clegg, Philip DiGiuseppe, and Gustav Nyquist were all the notable ones that I saw. They also extended Morgan Barron, which is a good value contract, Gabriel Velarde to a 6-year, 7.5. I like the moves that Winnipeg did. And they also brought in, not to mention, Jonathan Toews. You think I'd forget? I didn't forget. Jonathan Toews is a Winnipeg Jet. Carter, what do you think about this outfit?
No. Let's start with Jack, but before Jack goes, Jack, how's it going to feel seeing Jonathan Toews in like a different uniform?
It'll be weird. It'll be a lot like Kane. Like Kane when he first got traded to the Rangers, I was like, oh man, that is weird. But I'm happy for him. He's playing in his hometown. I'm just happy he's back in the NHL. But it'll definitely be weird. But I'll be cheering him on for sure.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
You want to give I'll give you what's your take on it?
On like the Jets as a whole?
Yeah, I'll let you go.
Yeah, I mean, it was a decent offseason. A pretty similar team to last year, and they had a lot of success last year. So, I mean, simple as that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, thanks.
Good to hear. I'm glad you feel that way.
Yes. I'm jealous of you.
Thanks. I'm glad you're jealous.
Hopefully we get there in a couple years. We will.
I wouldn't count on it. Anyways,
nah, you're still like 6 years out.
No, they're probably more realistically, they're probably more like 3 or 4.
3.
5.
4. Anyways, we're not talking about Chicago here. We're talking
Carter,
about the father of Chicago. I'll be honest, I'm a little disappointed here with the Winnipeg Jets. I think I'm happy we finally have a second line center. That's great. I think I'm happy that Perfetti's going to be a lock for being the second line. I'm a little disappointed that the Nikolai Ehlers departure. I thought that once he was gone, I thought we should have addressed getting a very good, second line left winger soon. But I mean, I guess it's kind of hard when we have Kyle Connor we got to think about re-signing and everything like that. So that was kind of tough, but it's all good. I am still very upset that Nikolai Ehlers is gone. It's going to be weird seeing him in Carolina. I don't know how my reaction is going to be if I ever go to the game where we play Carolina, if I'm going to boo the crap out of him or just be glad that he's succeeding somewhere else. I feel like the classy thing to do would be to like be happy for him. But at the same time, like he left to go to Carolina because he wants to win and he wants first line minutes. Sorry, you're not beating out Kyle Connor. Okay. You were never good enough when we tried to put you on the right side. And yeah. So whatever. That's my Ehlers rant there. But yeah, I mean, they addressed some of the depth too, and this team was already decently deep. Hopefully Lowry comes back and his injury's not super serious and he can get back to being the player he was. Same with Josh Morrissey. I hope that when he returns, I hope his knee's okay. And I hope we can re-sign Samberg to like a reasonable deal. I will be honest, if we somehow sign him to like under $5 million, I will be stoked. I'll lose my mind. It's going to be a fun time. And if we could sign him for like over 5 years too, I might be getting a Dylan Samberg jersey just because.
Ooh, yeah, that's right.
I love Samberg.
That's valid. Yeah, I like what Chicago. I like what Winnipeg did. I'm going back to the beginning. Oh my God, Winnipeg did a really good job at just like bringing in some depth. I think that with Taze, he's going to be a no risk. Like it's a low risk. It's $2 million. We're acting like it's so much money. It's not. It's not really a risk whatsoever. I think that if he doesn't work out, he doesn't work out. Looking at the other signings, like Nyquist will be a good like middle sixer. I don't see him being anything more than that. The Jets definitely did get worse, Carter. I'm not going to say that they got better, but they definitely got a little bit worse. So honestly, I think that they had a good offseason, though, nonetheless. I'm going to give them like a C plus B minus range is where I'm leaning here. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think I'm leaning toward the B side, so I'll go B minus.
Carter?
I'll go C plus. I'm just upset we lost Ehlers.
Yeah, that's tough.
And we don't have Connor re-signed yet, or Samberg. So I'm really like, looking at this on Puckpedia and seeing Kyle Connor with just one bar under his number. I'm like actually scared right now. This is really scary.
Hey, it's okay. Give it time.
No, it's not, because I'm actually freaking out, dude.
I think he's gone. I'm gonna be real with you.
Shut up, Jack. This is not the time.
Enjoy this year.
No. If you say he's going to Chicago, I am. I don't think
that'll happen.
Good.
But.
At least you're a realist.
Well, Philadelphia sounds pretty nice.
Which I will potentially be there in November.
Gotta let me know. All right, who had the best offseason of any team in the Central Division? Utah.
The Mammoth. First
Probably
year,
Utah.
the official name.
Oh yeah. Who had the
Thanks,
worst
Rory.
offseason? Oh,
You got a cake pop?
Yeah, my girlfriend just came by, dropped me off in a little Starbucks and a cake pop.
Oh, that's cute.
Nice.
What a dub!
You gotta get a brownie though.
Yeah.
That's okay. I do mess with a cake pop though.
Yeah,
Anyways, let's get back to the podcast here and not my cake pop.
Who had the worst offseason?
Oh man.
Probably Nashville.
Nashville, yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, Nashville.
All right. Well, there you go. We did that in a good amount of time. Carter has 20 minutes to spare. That'll conclude this episode of the NordCast. Carter, any final thoughts?
No, but I'd just like to say, why am I always eating in podcasts? This is like starting to get really...
For the last couple of years.
I'm just a snacker, man. I don't know why.
I've been munching a little bit, too. I had some stuff at the beginning. Now I'm eating Lifesavers. I don't stop.
Just straight, like, hold on, flavored ones or like just mint ones? Or are they gummies?
Mint. Just mint. No, I mess with the gummies, though. I mess with the gummies.
Hold on. Let's just straight mint Lifesavers?
I just had one. I haven't been having like 6 at a time.
Okay, well, how you said it, mate, you were like, oh, I've been snacking on Lifesavers. I'm like, oh, so you've been having like 10 of them.
What's wrong with lifesavers? Even if I was doing that.
No, nothing. But if you're having flavored ones, it's a different story. But if you've had like 10 straight mint ones, just snacking on them, that's kind of crazy. Jack, you agree, right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Somebody who doesn't brush their teeth. No, I'm kidding. And then Jack, any final thoughts?
That is crazy.
Cubs fans, the next 2 months are going to be crazy. I'll be in Milwaukee on Tuesday. Huge game.
No, you won't.
Yeah, we'll be. Tickets secured.
Yeah, I'm going seeing the Reading Phillies tomorrow. I was at the Philadelphia Phillies on Monday, and they won off of a catcher's interference for the first time in like over 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy work.
How far are you from that park?
An hour
Okay.
from both Reading and Philly. We're actually going to the Pigs at the end of, or not at the end of, at the beginning of August. So
Nice.
All right.
I gotta make my way to a baseball game real bad.
Well, you're in Canada. Like, do they have?
I know.
Canadian
Blue Jays are
baseball
good.
there?
Like we have this like not good baseball league, but like it's still fun to go sometimes because like tickets are cheap. But like I want to go to like an actual MLB game. That's on the bucket list.
You have a Winnipeg baseball team, right?
Yeah, the Gold
They
Eyes.
play the Kane County Cougars, which is a team like 30 minutes away. I was just at their game the other night. So those two teams play each other. That's crazy. I just realized that.
Crazy. So we're gonna have a rivalry. Nice.
Yeah.
You have a minor league baseball team?
It's not associated with any MLB team.
Oh,
No.
okay.
We had one of our guys get like MLB prospect something. Went up to like
Kyle
the camps,
Schwarber
like,
actually played on the Kane County Cougars because they used to be a Cubs affiliate.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I don't know why they won't put like. I know why they won't put Canadian teams like in the MLB besides the Blue Jays.
Oh yeah. Okay.
That's
good,
the only one that I think would work. But
Well,
why
Montreal
would-
had a team.
I know the Expos did. Yeah. Why wouldn't they put a like minor league team in there? That's what I don't understand.
It's just a lot of travel for the guys getting called
That's
up and
true.
down.
It would depend.
Mhm.
Yeah, obviously. So that's true, I guess. Carter, what's the closest one to you?
True.
Like
Minnesota, I think it'd be the Twins.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It'd probably be the Twins or
Like as far as driving, it'd be Twins, but I think flying might be Toronto because I don't think there's any direct flights to Minnesota from us. So,
okay.
That's weird.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
but I think
Yeah.
kilometer wise, it'd be Minnesota.
Yeah, I gotta say, like baseball is the best like sport. Besides, honestly, it's the best. It's the best like family sport. Like you can take your family there.
Mhm.
It's especially like the minor league systems. It's so cheap. There's all these mascots there, and it's cool. You get to watch the
Yeah.
teams and the future prospects play. And then, not to mention what the Reading Phillies do is they have like fireworks after every game that kids can stay back and watch. It's cool stuff, honestly. So baseball is like the best like family experience. I can only watch it when I'm there. I just can't for the life of me watch it on TV.
I watch all 162.
Yes, I know
You're
you're
a
a big
nerd.
baseball guy. So
Yeah.
I've
All
been
right,
getting into it, man.
Yeah, yeah. All right. We went on way longer than we thought. I'm going to end the podcast here. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you next week with the Metropolitan, and it's looking like it's probably just going to be me and Jack next episode. So thank you all for watching. Carter, aren't you on vacation?
I mean, I've recorded from Hawaii before. We'll see what I can do.
True. All right. That'll do it for this episode of the NordCast. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you guys so much for watching or listening to yet again another episode of the NordCast. If you enjoyed, please subscribe down below or follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you want to follow us on TikTok, we are at NordCast. If you want to follow us on Instagram or Twitter, follow at NordCast_. That'll do it for this episode. I'm Nordic. Thanks for listening from all the crew, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.